That beautiful shelf by your door? It might be the reason your wealth can't stay. It's not cursed. It's just misplaced. In Feng Shui, the spot right beside your front door, especially the left side, isn't just any wall. It's the wealth entry zone. And every time you walk past that shelf stacked with vases, books, or dusty family photos, you're unknowingly blocking abundance. The worst part? You might even feel stuck, not knowing why. Today, we fix it, quietly, softly, so your space can breathe again. I never really paid attention to that shelf near my front door. It was just there, holding random things, a candle I never lit, a chipped vase from my aunt, and some old keys I stopped using years ago. But one day, I read this line in an old Feng Shui book. It said, "The space to the left of your main entrance is where wealth arrives." And I just froze. I realized that shelf wasn't just cluttered, it was clogging the entry point of my money flow. You know how sometimes, no matter how much you try, your income doesn't feel anchored? Like money comes in, but slips out just as fast? Yeah, I thought it was me. Turns out it was that shelf. Before we begin, take a slow look around your front door. Left side, right side, what's there? Because Feng Shui isn't about doing more. It's about removing what blocks what's already meant for you. If this speaks to you, type "clear the path" in the comments. So this video becomes your shift. And hey, this is part of our everyday Feng Shui playlist. Tiny changes that ripple into big results. So if you've been feeling stuck lately, maybe today's the beginning of a softer, richer space. Ever notice how the left side of the front door becomes the dump zone? Keys, bags, random decor, and we never question it. But here's the thing. That shelf isn't just holding stuff. It's holding energy still. And in Feng Shui, still energy means stuck finances. So here's what usually happens. You walk in the front door. You're holding your phone, your keys, maybe your bag, and right there, to your left, is that convenient little shelf. It's where everything lands. Mail, receipts, old gift cards, that candle you meant to throw out 2 months ago. It starts out useful, you think. I'll just leave this here for now. But for now becomes forever. And the shelf turns into a magnet for clutter. Now here's what most people don't realize. That exact left-hand zone when entering your home, it's called the wealth entry in Feng Shui. It's where energy, especially financial energy, is meant to flow in freely. So when we put too much stuff there, especially dead energy, like expired coupons, burnt-out lighters, or tangled cords, we're blocking that flow. We're literally saying to the universe, there's no space for more. Even worse, it creates a subtle feeling every time you walk in. A little tension, a little mess, a little stress. And over time, that builds up. Not just in your house, in your head. You might start putting off paying bills, forgetting where you left important documents, feeling like money is trickling out faster than it's coming in. And then you say, I guess I'm just bad with money. But maybe it's not you. Maybe it's your shelf. All right. So what do you do with that left side shelf? You don't need to throw it out or renovate anything big. But you do need to change its role from drop zone to invitation point. Here's how. Step 1. Clear the block. Start with a 3-minute sweep. Take everything off the shelf. Seriously, everything. Then ask yourself, Is this something I use or something I'm avoiding? Old mail? Toss it. Dusty souvenirs? Pack them away or let them go. Dead batteries? BE. This is not just cleaning. It's permission for energy to move again. Step 2. Elevate with intention. Place 1 or 2 symbolic items that feel calm and prosperous. Some ideas. A small bowl with gold coins or lucky pennies. A framed photo that makes you feel safe and abundant. A plant with soft, upward-growing leaves, like a peace lily or jade plant. Or even a moon-shaped dish for keys, light and symbolic. And here's the trick. Leave space. Don't fill it up. Let the shelf breathe. Let the energy move. Step 3. Light it gently. If possible, place a small lamp or soft LED candle nearby. Soft lighting here acts like a welcome light for wealth energy. And every time you walk in, your space says, "You're home, and there's room for good things to enter." I remember visiting a client, Lisa, mid-40s, ran her own online business. Her home was cozy, but the moment I stepped inside, that shelf on the left, stacked, papers, chargers, a random sock. It felt like the whole week's stress had landed there. She laughed nervously and said, "Yeah, that's my dumping spot. It just happens." We didn't touch anything else that day. Just that one shelf. She cleared it out, wiped it down, put a tiny wooden bowl there with 2 coins and a small quartz crystal, lit a candle in the evenings. She messaged me 2 weeks later. I don't know what happened, but I finally finished invoicing. Got paid faster than ever. And weirdly, I feel like I'm spending less without even trying. She didn't change banks, didn't set up some budgeting app. She just made room for clarity in the first place she saw when she got home. And somehow, that one little shift shifted everything. When you fix that shelf, just that shelf, you're not just organizing, you're signaling. You're telling the space and yourself, this home welcomes flow. And it responds. Your keys feel easier to find. Your wallet stays fuller longer. You spend more mindfully. And somehow, money conversations don't feel so tangled. Wealth energy isn't always about how much you make. It's about how your space lets it stay. That left side shelf, it can either trap what's trying to come in, or become a quiet invitation for more. When you clear space with intention, money doesn't just come, it lingers. Okay, let's move deeper. Because there's another shelf mistake, but this one hides in plain sight. In your bedroom. So wait, you ever sit down at your desk, and there's a shelf right above you? Looks harmless, right? But here's what's wild. That shelf might be what's quietly weighing down your mental clarity and your cash flow. Okay, let me ask you something real quick. Have you ever had a shelf right above your bed, your desk, or your stove? You probably didn't even think twice, just needed extra storage, right? That's the mistake. Installing shelves directly above where you sleep, work, or cook may seem like a smart use of space. But in Feng Shui, that's what we call overhead pressure. It's not just physical, it's energetic. When something sits right above your head, especially when you spend hours in that spot, it creates a sense of subconscious weight. You might not notice it, but your body does. Your nervous system never fully relaxes. And that feeling, it leaks into your decisions. You might get restless, jump from task to task, or even feel like you're falling behind when you're actually doing just fine. And when it comes to money, that mental pressure can cloud your judgment. You impulse spend just to feel better. You delay big decisions out of fear. You miss quiet opportunities because your mind's too cluttered to notice. It's wild, right? All from a shelf. But yeah, that's how energy works. It's sneaky. Okay, here's the fix, and it's honestly kinda simple, but powerful. First, move the shelf if you can. If it's right above your head where you sleep, sit, or think, just relocate it. It doesn't have to go far. Even shifting it to a side wall or corner can ease that invisible weight. But hey, I get it, sometimes you can't just take it down. Rental rules, budget, storage needs, life. So here's what you do instead. Soften the energy below it. Add a small fabric panel underneath the shelf like a sheer curtain or soft linen. It acts like a symbolic ceiling, so your energy field doesn't feel exposed. Or place a rounded object, like a moon lamp or crystal dome, right below to buffer sharp pressure. And then this one's subtle but big. Use intention. Before you start your day under that shelf, pause for 5 seconds and whisper to yourself, I'm grounded. I am safe. Pressure rolls off me. The shelf may stay, but the energy shifts. And when that happens, your mind softens. Your money decisions follow. There's this woman I worked with. Let's call her Laura. Divorced, mid-50s, starting over in a small apartment with just what she could carry. Her bed? Tucked under a long floating shelf. Books, old journals, little glass jars, all lined up right above where she slept. She told me she'd been waking up tired, like her brain was already full, before she even started the day. I asked her, what's in those jars? She shrugged. Receipts, notes, past stuff I didn't want to lose. That night, she took everything down, boxed it up, moved the shelf over her desk instead. Then, she lit a candle. She texted me the next morning. First time I woke up without noise in my chest. Sometimes, the clutter we keep above us is the reason we can't lift our heads. Once she cleared that space, Laura didn't just sleep better. She started budgeting again. Little things. Making coffee at home. Canceling a subscription she forgot she had. Saying no to one more online sale. Not because she was trying to manifest, but because, for the first time in a long time, her mind could breathe. And when your thoughts aren't cluttered, you make better choices. With your time, your energy, and your money. A clear space above you creates a clear path ahead. Let's move to something people rarely think about, but affects energy more than you'd imagine. Loop 3 is going to surprise you. So wait, have you ever walked past a shelf and ducked? Like your body just knows something's off? Turns out, our nervous system picks up threats before our mind even names them. That tiny duck you did? It might be your wealth energy flinching. So, there's this shelf. Maybe it's floating. Maybe it's built in. It's sitting there, right across from your kitchen. Above the trash can, beside the laundry door. Just chillin' with your Costco stash and a basket of tangled cords. Looks harmless, right? But in Feng Shui, shelves placed too close to the back entrance, or aligned with drains and waste zones, create what's called a qi collapse. That means energy gets pulled down and out. Money comes in and slips right back out through leaky spending, bills piling, or just that weird sense of always chasing. And the worst part? You keep adding more to that shelf, thinking it's helping you feel more together. But energetically, it's like putting a hole in your wealth bucket and pretending it's fine. This creates a subtle stress loop. You start rushing more. You spend without thinking. Impulse replaces intention. And even though your space looks organized, your money patterns feel messy. So here's the thing. That shelf, it's not the enemy. It just needs a better role in your space. You've got 3 choices, real talk. 1. Lift it. If the shelf's too low, especially near floor drains or bins, raise it higher. Align it above shoulder level and use it for something intentional. A beautiful jar with rice, or a bowl with coins and cinnamon sticks. That tells the energy. This is a place where wealth gathers, not slips away. 2. Shift it. If it's too close to an exit point, like a bathroom, laundry room, or even your back door, consider moving it to a wall that supports stability, like the far left from your main entrance. That's the wealth corner in Feng Shui, and shelves there can act like banks for your energy. 3. Let it go. And yeah, maybe, just maybe, you don't need that shelf. You've outgrown it, and your energy deserves to breathe. Sometimes taking something down is the first step to letting wealth move up. I remember this one Sunday afternoon. Just me, a cup of tea, and that weird buzzing in my head. I was sitting in the living room, trying to finish a grocery list. But something felt cluttered, not in the room, in my brain. Then I looked up, and there it was, a tiny shelf, barely hanging on by 2 screws, right by the laundry room door. Old coupons, a candle I never lit, a chipped elephant figurine my aunt gave me when I was 12. It wasn't just a shelf. It was a holding place for forgotten things. And somehow, I realized I'd been feeling stuck because I kept looking at stuck stuff. So I cleared it, wiped it clean. And that space, it breathed again. And so did I. After I cleared that little shelf, it was wild how things started to move. A friend randomly Venmo'd me $40 she owed from last year. I found a coupon buried in my car that saved me $15 on groceries. And for the first time in weeks, I slept all the way through the night. It wasn't the shelf. It was what I stopped tolerating. Stagnation. The chi shifted. And I did too. Sometimes wealth doesn't need more space. It just needs clearer space. Let's talk about corners next. The ones that poke, push, and pinch without us even realizing it. So wait, what if the wealth isn't leaking out your wallet, but off the wall? Yup, that innocent shelf near your bedroom door, it might be holding more than your keys, it could be holding back your money luck. So, there's this little wall shelf. It's cute, it's convenient, maybe it's right by your door. You toss your purse on it, or a mug, or a bunch of random receipts you'll totally deal with later. But here's the thing. That shelf, if it's sitting just to the left of your main door, that's not just any spot. That's your wealth mouth in Feng Shui. It's where money energy tries to walk in. And now it's bumping straight into a floating block of wood with yesterday's coffee on top. You didn't mean to block anything. But energy doesn't care about intention. It cares about flow. And when the first thing wealth energy hits is clutter, you're not just blocking chi. You're training your house to treat money like an afterthought. What starts as mild delay becomes real. Stuck payment, delayed paychecks, refund issues, even arguments over shared finances. And the worst part? You don't even realize it's linked to a shelf. Alright, here's the fix, and it's easier than you think. First, look at that shelf with fresh eyes. Is it really necessary there? If it's floating by the front door, especially on the left side as you walk in, that shelf's not just decor. It's a gatekeeper, and honestly, it's being a little rude. So if you can, remove it completely. Let that corner breathe. If not, then keep it minimal. No bags, no mugs, no week-old mail. Add a small round mirror or a bowl with 3 coins to flip the narrative from blocker to inviter. And here's my favorite part. Place a tiny plant like jade or pothos beside the door frame, just low enough to guide the chi inward, not up and out. It's like whispering to money energy. Come in, you're welcome here. A friend of mine, she lives in Arizona, told me something wild. She had this little wooden shelf right by the entrance. It held keys, a cactus mug, a dusty candle she swore smelled like abundance, and oddly, a stack of expired coupons. She never thought much of it, but she always said this thing. Money comes in, but it just doesn't stay. One day, during a random phone call, I asked her, "Which side of the entry is the shelf?" She paused. "Left." I whispered, "Girl, that's your money dragon's tripwire." She laughed. Then she cleared it all. Took the whole thing down. Replaced it with a round mirror and a tiny money plant. And no joke, that same month, she landed a new freelance client who paid up front in full. She texted me, "Okay, so maybe your Feng Shui whispering works." And here's the funny part. Just by shifting the shelf away from the left side of the entrance, nothing else, she started getting random side gigs again. Not big deals, but enough to pay for her weekly groceries and cover that overdue water bill. It's like her house breathed out, and so did her bank account. The money didn't rush in, it trickled, but it trickled smooth. And sometimes that's all we really need, isn't it? Sometimes the smallest shift makes the biggest opening. Let's glide into the next space that quietly drains your abundance. So, what if the shelf isn't just blocking energy, but guarding it? Like a gatekeeper that never lets wealth step through. You think you're just storing stuff, but what if that innocent-looking shelf is silently deciding what gets in and what stays out? Especially when it holds sentimental clutter? You know that one shelf by the front door? The one that's supposed to be just temporary? Well, it's been temporary for 8 months now? It started with a key bowl, then a candle, then the emergency mail pile. Now, it's a museum of stuff you don't want to deal with: expired coupons, a bracelet from your ex, old concert tickets you said you'd scrapbook. You keep thinking, "I'll get to it," but you never do. And here's the kicker. That shelf sits right where new energy enters your home. In Feng Shui, the area just inside the front door is the mouth of Qi, where opportunity, wealth, and fresh life force first land. So if the first thing they see is your past, your mess, your emotional leftovers, well, guess what happens? They turn around. They hesitate. They don't feel welcome. It's not about being messy. It's about being emotionally anchored to moments that no longer serve you. And in a weird way, that shelf becomes a boundary. A quiet little wall between you and what's next. They start feeling like nothing new ever happens. Money feels hesitant. It shows up as small refunds, not real income. Clients ghost them. They clean, they rearrange, they light all the sage, but the feeling sticks, like life's just circling but never landing. Okay, take a breath. This isn't about becoming a minimalist overnight or lighting sage like you're in a movie scene. This is about sending one small, clear message to your space. I'm ready for new energy. So here's the fix. Simple. Walk to that shelf. Take just 5 things off. Not the whole thing 5. Choose the ones that make you feel tired. The bracelet you haven't worn since 2019? Gone. That candle you were gonna light with someone who ghosted you? Let it go. That pile of mail you pretend to sort every week? Toss what's expired. Now wipe down the surface. Yes, really wipe it. Dust carries stagnant cheese-stuck energy that lingers way longer than you think. And if you can, place something intentional there instead. A tiny bowl of jade coins. A simple glass vase with fresh greenery. Something alive, hopeful, light. This is you saying to the universe, here's space, fill it with something better. Not in theory, not someday, but now, physically, energetically, and with choice. I remember visiting my Aunt Linda last fall. She lives in this quiet town in Oregon, you know, the kind of place with more deer than people. Anyway, she had this little shelf by her front door. Cute, handmade, but it was chaos. Stacks of old coupons. A chipped figurine someone gave her years ago. And this dusty jar of loose buttons. I kid you not, buttons. I asked her, Aunt Linda, do you even see this shelf anymore? She laughed and said, Honey, I think it sees me more than I see it. That hit different. So, while she was making tea, I quietly cleared just a bit, wiped it down, placed a photo of her late husband and a tiny orchid there. Didn't tell her. A week later, she called me and said, Something feels lighter in the house. I don't know what it is, but I'm sleeping better. That tiny shelf had been holding more than buttons. Sometimes the smallest corner holds the heaviest energy. And sometimes, love looks like dusting someone's forgotten space. Now the shelf isn't just a shelf anymore. It's a gentle greeter. The moment you walk in, there's calm, a quiet kind of wealth. The space feels like it listens, like it's ready to welcome good news, not just catch your keys. Bills started feeling less overwhelming. Groceries came in under budget for once. And that weird tension in your shoulders? Yeah, gone. It's not magic. It's alignment. You didn't need more money. You needed less clutter between you and it. Your front door doesn't just open for guests, it opens for life. And now, let's bring it all home with a little reset you can do tonight. 1. Look at your just a shelf again. It might have been there for years. Left of your front door. Harmless, right? But in Feng Shui, the first thing energy meets decides how it moves. That shelf? It might be sending block instead of welcome. Just pause and see it with new eyes today. 2. Do a 5-minute shelf detox. Not a full cleanup, just 5 minutes. Remove things that feel stuck, dusty, or too there because I didn't know where else to put it. Imagine money as a soft breeze. Would it want to stop here or turn away? 3. Place one intentional symbol. A gold-framed photo of you smiling. A candle with a soft glow. A jade bowl with coins. The item doesn't need to scream wealth. It just needs to feel light, open, inviting. Like you're telling money, hey, it's safe to land here. And once that shelf breathes differently, you might notice you breathe differently too. It's quiet, but something lifts. Like the space finally stopped holding your past and started holding your future. That's not just furniture, that's a turning point. If this feels like something you've been carrying too, maybe it's time to let your home carry it differently. Let your shelf hold light, not worry. Let it invite flow, not hold it back. If this video spoke to you, I'd love to hear your story. Drop a comment if you're ready to shift your space with intention. And hey, this is just the beginning. We're mapping out every inch of the home in this new, everyday Feng Shui series, one silent block at a time. So stay with me. The next episode, we're going under the sink. Yep, that spot. You'll see why.